Hello everyone, welcome to CloudAffaire. In today's video, we are going to discuss placement groups. We are also going to create a placement group and place new EC2 instances under it. Placement group determines how an instance will be placed on the underlying hardware. Generally, when we create an instance, we can define the instance geographic location using region and availability zones. But if we want to control the instance placement on hardware, we need to use the placement group. AWS provides two placement group strategies to implement: cluster and spread. Cluster placement groups. A cluster placement group is a logical grouping of instances within a single availability zone. Cluster placement groups are recommended for applications that benefit from low network latency, high network throughput, or both, and if the majority of the network traffic is between the instances in the group. To provide the lowest latency and the highest packet per second network performance for your placement group, choose an instance type that supports enhanced networking. A cluster placement group can span peered VPCs in the same region. Spread placement groups. A spread placement group is a group of instances that are each placed on distinct underlying hardware. Spread placement groups are recommended for applications that have a small number of critical instances that should be kept separate from each other. Spread placement groups provide access to distinct hardware and are therefore suitable for mixing instance types or launching instances over time. A spread placement group can span multiple availability zones, and you can have a maximum of 7 running instances per availability zone per group. Placement group rules and limitations. General rules. The name you specify for a placement group must be unique within your AWS account for the region. You can't merge placement groups. An instance can be launched in one placement group at a time. It cannot span multiple placement groups. In the case of reserved instances, it is not possible to explicitly reserve capacity for a placement group. Instances with a tenancy of host cannot be launched in placement groups. Cluster placement group rules. Not all instance types supported for cluster placement groups. A cluster placement group can't span multiple availability zones. You can launch multiple instance types into a cluster placement group. However, AWS recommends using the same instance type for all instances in a cluster placement group. Spread placement group rules. A spread placement group supports a maximum of 7 running instances per availability zone. Spread placement groups are not supported for dedicated instances or dedicated hosts. Next, we are going to create a placement group and place new instances under it. Log into AWS console and click EC2 located under Compute. Navigate to placement groups located under Network and Security. Click Create Placement Group. Provide name and strategy for the placement group. Please select the spread strategy to utilize the free tier eligible instances. Click Create. Your new placement group has been created. Next, we are going to launch EC2 instances using this placement group. Navigate to instance located under Instances and click Launch Instance. Select any free tier eligible AMI and click Select. Choose T2.micro as instance type and click Next. Configure instance details. Provide the number of instances and select the placement group from drop-down. To make the placement group effective, add more than one instance. We can add additional instances to this placement group later, but it's recommended by AWS to launch all the instances at once to avoid any capacity issue in the future. We can customize the instances configuration, but in this demo, we are focusing on placing instances using the placement group. Hence we are skipping additional instance configurations. Click Review and Launch. Review the instance configuration and click Launch. Select Key Pair and click Launch Instances. One success message will be displayed. Click View Instances. 3 new instances have been created with different IP allocation and subnet. Hope you have enjoyed this video. To get more content like this, please subscribe to CloudAffaire and follow us on social with links in the description.